Would you like to make a Suncatcher and read Reddit stories with me? My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of a jewelry shop named Optimism. I make jewelry, and recently I've been making Suncatchers that I've been repurposing into car charms. Today I will be working with this stunning assortment of turquoise and blue beads, gold wires, gold charms, and jump rings. I'll be showing the process, but in order to not bore you with all my rambling, I've decided to browse Reddit and find a few stories to discuss. Funny enough, the two stories I have today are from a subreddit r/idontworkherelady. Let's go. Jumping straight in, we're going to start with our first story. Karen didn't believe the correct directions, so I gave her terrible ones. Okay, this sounds crazy already. This happened probably 30 years ago, This happened probably 30 years ago before GPS was in every car. This might not fit the subreddit, but it seems to be keeping up with many of the other stories. I grew up near a flea market that was extremely popular. It was located in a rural area about 45 minutes outside of a major metropolitan area. In the summer, the lines to get into the parking lot would be packed up half a mile more. The market was open on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Selling frozen fruit bars from a cart there during the summer was my first job. I rode my bike there and knew it was exactly 1 mile from our driveway to their driveway on the same road. There was one intersection with a stop sign in the middle. One Tuesday after school started again, my sister and I were outside waiting for the bus. This woman rose to a stop in front of us and asked if we knew how to get to the flea market. First of all, why are you stopping and asking children for directions? But I guess this was 30 years ago, so maybe times were different. I told her it was 1 mile that way, pointing in the correct direction. She says they've already been that way. So I repeated, it's 1 mile that way. There's one stop sign that you need to go through, but it's on the same road we are on. She starts screaming that they've already been that way and asking why am I lying to her? Okay. So you stopped and asked children for directions and then you gonna start screaming at them? Like, sis. Okay. So I apologized and said I was sorry for trying to mess with her. Sidebar, I was really good with maps, geography, and spent a lot of my early teenage years riding my bike all over the area I grew up. Okay, as you should. So I then proceeded to give her a made-up set of turns going the opposite direction that would put her at least 25 minutes from us, knowing our bus would pick us up in a minute or two. They were complicated enough that she had to get out a pen and paper and write them down, and she'd have a hard time, y'all. Ooh, slow down. And she'd have a hard time tracking to us, even if she wanted to. And I was confident enough that she believed I wasn't BSing her. My mom came out after the woman left and asked what was up. I said, just another lost tourist looking for the flea market. That was funny. That's what she gets. She doesn't need to be rolling up, pulling up on children, asking where the flea market is, and then when you ask me, when I tell you, you still not gonna believe me. I just don't think that I will ever stop and ask a child for directions anywhere. Like, that just seems very, it's giving very sex trafficking. And I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too over my head, but sis, now I'm calling the police. Because why are you stopping on the side of the road and asking me how to get to a flea market that's only 1 mile down the road? And if you've been down there, then you already know. So now it's giving more and more sex trafficking, but maybe it's not. Maybe I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but okay, taking a quick break. Looking at where I am so far on this car charm, it is looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm adding some blue beads and some icy looking beads, and it's looking like a winter wonderland. And that's what I'm saying, like, while I'm making it. I don't know if y'all want to hear my commentary as I'm making it and like kind of actually giving a tutorial. I just can't help it. Then leave that in the comments and I can make a video showing y'all exactly how I make these sun catchers.
Let your edge out to some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You so, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've came from losing the best in me. I worry that I wasted the best in me. Oh, baby, you don't care. This is urgent. Trying to make sense of those chains that me a war in my mind. Gotta let go away, he was holding me to the right, but it will break up in front of me. All the while, I wait my favorite.
Moving on to the next story. I wish I had someone here to give me some feedback, but it's just me, myself, and I, me and my thoughts. Yeah, so this next story is called I Was the Karen / Kevin. He was the Kevin, y'all. Alright, let's see what he did. The Orange Home Improvement Store. Is that Home Depot? Huh? Okay. The Orange Home Improvement Store had just opened in my area. Never been to one before. So me and a buddy go shopping for some sonotubes. These are big cardboard tubes you fill with concrete as I was working on my deck. I find the appropriate aisle and there's only 3 on the rack and I need 4. There's a guy with a cart full of different size tubes looking over the selection and I see him take one out of the cart and put it on the rack. Now it's my first time ever in the store and the guy is wearing some sort of work shirt with a name tag and I just assume he works there and is restocking. Uh-oh. I see a couple of the size tubes that I was looking for in his cart, so I grab one and toss it in mine and start walking away. I get about 20 feet away and the guy notices and says, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" And rightly so, I say. There were only 3 in the rack. I need 4. He just sort of looks at me kind of dumbfounded and says, "So you're just going to take mine?" "Yep," is my reply as I walk away. Boy, what? Excuse me? Sir, excuse me, because now I'm running you down and stopping you in your tracks. Like, I'm running you down like a track star and stopping you in your tracks immediately. My buddy just kind of chuckles and says nothing. Not a word. Not a word. That's how he writes it. We get to the end of the aisle and start getting closer to the cash out area, and I notice the actual store uniforms and realize my mistake. But I've come too far to go back, so I just kind of hustle to the cash register and pay for my ill-gotten gains and hightail it out of the store. My buddy never says a word till we're back to the truck, then hits me with a, "Wow, you're such a dick." That was kind of impressive. Okay, that's the end of that story, but just a recap, not even a recap, but my thoughts. First of all, I would have been so angry if I was shopping and someone just came up and grabbed something out of my cart and put it in their cart. Like, excuse me, now I'm running you down, chasing you down, and tackling you before you get to your car, and I'm putting my stuff back into my cart because you lost your mind. Like, you have lost your mind. The other day I was in the store and I know COVID is over and I really wasn't like terrified of COVID either, but there was this lady who was standing 2 inches from my back. Like, sis, you can feel my back hair standing this close. Why are you this close? And I have a shirt on. And you can still feel my back hairs. But like, no, that has nothing to do with the situation. But you should have at least went back in the store and apologized and gave it back to him after you realized what you did. But you didn't. And he didn't. He didn't come after you. He didn't say nothing. He didn't want his stuff back. I guess he didn't want him that bad. I mean, hey. But yeah, I would have been super pissed. And nobody, please never do this. Even if you think it's an employee, just ask first. For anyone actually interested in what I'm making, as you can see, I've added the charms and I've added the crystal ball, which is going to act as the reflective part, making it a sun catcher. And my process basically includes an initial shape, which is the circle, and I wrap it with pretty beads. In this case, I use these periwinkle clear and really like icy looking beads, which makes it look like a winter wonderland in my opinion. But I make my initial shape and then I add a dangling element, which in this case is one strand of beads, charms, and the crystal ball at the end. And I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If these types of videos interest you, then just leave a like so I can know to make more. Also, if you're wondering about getting your hands on this Suncatcher, it will be listed in my Etsy shop. All of my information will be in the description box, and I'll see all of you guys next time.